The diner was half empty when he walked in, the kind of quiet that hums just before a storm. He sat in booth 7, corner seat, back to the wall, the power position. Even in jeans and a black shirt, he looked like money, the kind that didn't just buy things, it bought silence. I recognized him instantly. Adrian Cole, CEO of Waitress Industries, the man who turned bankrupt factories into billion-dollar empires. The man I'd only ever seen on TV, until that night. He ordered black coffee, no sugar. I brought it to him, forcing a smile that barely held. He nodded politely, pulled out a sleek folder, and started signing papers with a Mont Blanc pen. I didn't mean to look, but something about the motion caught my eye. His signature. 2 loops, a sharp flick at the end, a habit I'd seen 1,000 times on birthday cards, report cards, the note he left when he walked out. My father's signature. My throat went dry. "Sir," I said, my voice smaller than I wanted it to be, "that's my dad's signature." The pen froze mid-stroke. He looked up, eyes like polished steel, and for the first time, I saw something flicker there. Recognition. Then fear. The glass of water in his hand slipped, shattered against the tile. And just like that, the past came flooding back. When I was 15, my father disappeared. No note, no warning, just gone. My mother said he left for business. Weeks turned to months. Then the debts started calling. The house was taken, the car repossessed. And Mom, she broke before the year ended. The official report said he'd signed over his company shares and vanished. They said he'd gone bankrupt, but I never believed it. My father wasn't perfect, but he wasn't stupid. For years I chased ghosts, job to job, town to town. I worked nights at diners, scrubbing tables, collecting stories from strangers who never remembered my name. But I kept looking. I never stopped. And then he walked in. The man holding my father's signature like it belonged to him. After that night, I started digging. Every evening after the diner closed, I'd sit in the corner booth with my phone, tracing Adrian Cole's rise. Waitress Industries, founded the same year my father vanished. Initial investors, sealed documents. Founding patents, filed under a shell company linked to Thomas Hale. My father's middle name was Thomas. His college roommate? Adrian Cole. It took me 3 weeks to find the first crack, an archived article about a failed partnership between them 20 years ago. No one cared to read it, but I did. The betrayal was simple. Adrian had stolen everything, the company, the technology, even the disappearance. He forged my father's signature, made it look like my father signed it all away. Then he built his empire on it. While I wiped counters for tips, Adrian dined with presidents. That's when something inside me went quiet. Not broken, just silent. I stopped reacting. I started planning. Revenge isn't rage. It's architecture. Step 1, access. He came to the diner every Thursday at 7 p.m. Routine, predictable. I became the girl who remembered his order, who refilled his cup before he asked. Invisible and indispensable, the perfect disguise. Step 2, leverage. I created a fake identity online, a quiet investor from Singapore, using a trail of encrypted accounts I pieced together over months. With a few forged introductions, I reached his assistant, then his board. I offered funding for an upcoming acquisition, enough money to get invited to the table. Step 3, truth. My father had left behind an old hard drive, one I'd found years ago but never opened, encrypted. It took a hacker in Warsaw 3 nights to crack it. Inside were blueprints, contracts, prototypes, proof of intellectual theft. Proof that Waitress was never his. Everything I needed to burn him legally, financially, and publicly. The deal meeting was at the Helix Tower, his fortress of glass and arrogance. I arrived early, dressed in tailored calm. He didn't recognize me at first. The waitress was gone. In her place was Evelyn Hale, investor from abroad. He smiled, that same corporate charm that made people forget to ask questions. We shook hands. "A pleasure," he said. "The pleasure," I replied, "will be mine." During the meeting, I presented my offer, but attached to the documents was a clause buried deep, a transfer of ownership, triggered automatically if certain frauds were proven. He signed without reading. Of course he did. Men like him always do. Afterward, I handed him a folder. "For your records." Inside were copies of the original contracts, my father's real ones, signed, dated, legitimate. He flipped through them, confusion bleeding into panic. Then he looked up and finally saw me. Really saw me. "You," he whispered. "Yes," I said, "Thomas Hale's daughter." His face went white. I could almost hear the empire cracking behind his eyes. Security rushed in when he shouted, but it was too late. By the time they checked the monitors, my drive had already uploaded the documents to half the media outlets in the city. The files, the proof, the transfers, everything. His company shares froze overnight. The board called an emergency session. And Adrian Cole, the untouchable billionaire, became the headline, "CEO built empire on forged contracts, investigation underway." He tried to speak to me once more, in the chaos. "You don't know what you've done," he said. I smiled. "No, Adrian, you don't know what you did." I walked out of Helix Tower without looking back. The air outside felt heavier, but clean. 2 months later, the diner closed, bought by a new investor. Me. I kept Booth 7 exactly the same, for memory's sake. They say revenge doesn't fix the past. Maybe they're right. But it clarifies it. I didn't ruin him out of anger. I did it so the truth would have a witness, even if the only one left was me. When I think of my father now, I don't see the man who disappeared. I see the man whose legacy I reclaimed. The world forgot him. I made them remember. And as for Adrian Cole, last I heard, he's trying to appeal. I hope he does. It'll give me another chance to watch him lose.